What are you saying, lads? Long time. So, today we're gonna have an interesting project called Die by the Blade, and it struck me first from the first time. So I decided to see what was happening in this game, right? So I saw the crazy nice poster with a samurai with a nice red sword, and it just hugged me because, I love the Asian culture as well. So even since fighting games, I have been playing at things that the players have had some niche but ever presented drive for the creation of the two things. It truly balances the one-in-one experience where the winner is determined by reflex and skill and not by who has the more powerful character and the hyper-realistic depiction of weapon-based martial arts. What a combat that takes into account real-world physics, stances, and training to emulate what a true battle between the armed warriors might look like. Plenty of games have come and done that have attempted to fulfill one of the both of these desires. One title particularly arguably come closer to it than most, and definitely known is the one of the most popular ones, Ubisoft creator, called The For Honor. A game that depicts historical combat-ish with a stance-focused fighting mechanics and heavy emphasis on one-on-one encounters. I've played my fair share of Honor, and while there are aspects and others I enjoy about it, and it's easy to say that the game has problems and don't totally deliver on all of the promises that drawn I most in player base. If you wonder why I've spent so many time talking about the For Honor in review that isn't about For Honor, it's because Die by Day heavily reminds me of the better aspects of the game mechanics. Die by the Blade is a one versus combat game that uses a directional attack system and action-styled, opponent-logged camera very similar to For Honor. While differences clearly exist between these two, if you're familiar with For Honor's combat, it would be a stretch for me to say that Die by Blade is For Honor with a more balanced approach and solely focuses on one-on-one dueling many players are drawn to. Die by the Blade is the fast-paced combat game where you deliver one of two attacks from the three directions, high, low, and middle. The direction you aim your mouse or controller stick determines where you attack from. Attacks can be blocked when the fighter directs their weapon in the same area. You can also parry, dodge, or roll out of the direction of the attacks and use movements inputs to execute what are called the sequences. And the sequences operate sort of like the combat, but not really. I'll explain why in a minute. Both players have a resources bar called Resolve that drains on an attack and is resourced over the time or by successfully blocking. All this should sound pretty familiar to the players of similar style games. I'm going to stop mentioning For Honor from here, but it's still that Die by the Blade stands on Stayward rule. You die in a single hit. Well, not only does this add an air of intensity to the combat, but it also makes more closely resembles the real-life swordplay. If you go and try to have a katana battle on the street with someone, let's say tomorrow, I'll promise you won't have any health bars to help you tank a few hits. The winner of the Die by the Blade match is whatever is quicker in attacking and better at defending their opponents. Unlocks similar titles, there are no characters with tougher heal bars, oppressive movesets, or better stats to an extent. Die by the Blade doesn't totally live up to promise of perfectly balanced one game due to two primary issues: HP locked collectibles and character stats. All movesets in the game are tied behind the weapons you see, theoretically putting everyone on equal playing ground. Unfortunately, every but all the rounded katana is locked behind leveling up, potentially putting a new player at the mercy of the more experienced enemy and matchmaking. Thankfully, in my experience, the type of weapon you use doesn't make too much of the difference so long as you are still good with the mechanics. You can also grind out XP in offline play, but the grind is long and it'll take you a while to get those higher level unlocks, such as Nagatina and other characters. The other characters are where the game real balancing act takes a nosedive. While all the characters are made equal regarding the whole dying in one hit thing, their stats are not the same. In game where you only need to hit you full once, speed seems incredibly important, and who you choose to play can have much more or much less speed than your opponent. For example, I always get easy wins against Yoshi whenever I play Butterfly. What is the simple solution of the both of balancing issues? Just to have players unlock all weapons and all characters all the game. It isn't like there is the plenty unlock earned already with all the weapons and the characters being locked behind the progression. Each character has a modest set of cosmetics to unlock, but where the game really shines with its cosmetic progression system in weapons. Weapons allow you to customize each part with a ton of optional for each, allowing you to put the good use to the coins you earn and really personalize your fights. I'm excited to see new weapons and weapon cosmetics add to the game as time goes on. The last thing I want to connect on about Die by the Blade is the game aesthetics. The game sport what is called a samuraipunk look combining cyberpunk and samurai styles, and I am hell for it. My only criticism is I don't think that the game goes far enough with it. The style is there throughout, it feels little untopped, but not fully embraced, and are a little too generic, and like to see what the game would look like if it went heavier on the style, delivering a real visually stunning experience. Die by the Blade delivers fast-paced, deadly skin-heavy combat for the players to master 1 vs 1 battles. While not perfectly balanced, the game features some awesome cosmetics and exciting gameplay that will surely hook the fans of the genre for the long haul. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to rate, comment and subscribe. Bye.